All right, so we're 3 weeks away, about 2.5, and ESPN came out with a ranking today. It seems like nothing's happening, and every day as nothing happens, people feel a little bit better about the 49ers. Like, you know what? Haven't lost someone like Dre Greenlaw in a month. That's pretty good. So Christian McCaffrey, he hasn't gotten hurt in a while. Now he's fallen from number 1 in the ESPN running back rankings, which is where he was last year, to number 5. So here are the ESPN top 10 running back rankings. And what they did is Jeremy Fowler polled executives, scouts, and coaches. So this is supposed to be as scientific as it gets. It's not like he just asked ChatGPT, although that might be even more scientific. So number 1, Saquon Barkley. Number 2, Derrick Henry. Number 3, Jahmyr Gibbs. Number 4, Bijan Robinson. And number 5, Christian McCaffrey. His highest ranking from the unnamed voters was number 3, and his lowest was unranked entirely. How do you feel?
Interesting. I did look to see who ChatGPT has their best running back. It is Barkley. So
There you go.
factual basis. No, man, I
There you
think
go.
I think it's pretty fair considering he barely played last year, right? If Christian McCaffrey was 100% healthy, Christian McCaffrey, he's as good as any running back in the league, if not, maybe the best, second best. Um, 5 is honestly 5 is probably more than fair considering what happened last year with him, because we really don't know what he's going to look. Some people said he fell off, and some people said that. Some people said he lost a step or two. I don't know, man. It's hard at this point, July 7th, to say whether I agree or disagree. I think it's fair. I mean, going from the offensive player of the year to number 5 after a year where you barely played and you're had calf injuries on both legs, I think that's more than fair. It doesn't piss me off. I don't think he deserves to be higher. I don't think he deserves to be lower. As of right now, we're gonna have to see.
Get started at factormeals.com/cone50off and use code cone50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it as like deserving what he's done in his career, I guess 5 is fair. But I think if you look at it as a projection, it seems to me like a little generous based on his name and what he's accomplished in the past. Because 5th, I mean, I would kind of be surprised, honestly, if he had the 5th most yards from scrimmage, if he was top 5 in yards from scrimmage among running backs this year or touchdowns. He could
Why
be
would you be
top 10
surprised?
if he stays healthy, but I just would be surprised. Like that last year, the top 5 guys in yards from scrimmage, like number 1 was Barkley at almost 2,300 yards. Number 2 was Derrick Henry at 2,100. 3 was Gibbs at 1,900. Bijan Robinson had almost 1,900. Like prime McCaffrey could hit those numbers. And everyone's talking about like, well, if he's healthy. I don't even think that's the biggest issue. I think it's his age. I mean, 29 is the number. And for running backs, that's kind of a rough number most of the time. I think people look at Derrick Henry and they're like, well, age ain't nothing but a number for running backs. But that's Derrick Henry. He's one of the greatest of all time. Christian is he's built different. I
Built
don't know.
different. If Christian McCaffrey was healthy, would you be surprised if he was in the top 5?
I would be surprised. That's what I'm saying. Like, let's say he plays 16 games. I still think tops he gets to like 1,500 yards from scrimmage, which would put him maybe in the top 10. I mean, maybe like his efficiency would be top 5, but I just feel like if things are going right for him this year, they're not going to use him as much as they did in the past. He's going to split time a little bit more. Garendo will be a factor, and he just won't have those numbers. Like I'm looking at Marshall Faulk. Marshall Faulk was a very similar player, great player. And from 25 to 28, he was all pro 1 or 2. He was in the MVP. He was an MVP. And then at 29, his numbers just fell back a little bit. He went from 2,100 yards and 21 touchdowns to 1,410 touchdowns. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's sort of what happens to Christian at this stage of his career. Like still good if healthy, but I don't know about the 5th best running back in the league. Maybe the 10th.
To me, based on history, if he is healthy and what Kyle does with running back, if Christian McCaffrey is healthy, in my opinion, if Christian McCaffrey is healthy, he'll easily be top 5 because of the way Kyle has used him in the past. Now, sounds like to me you're thinking that Kyle will learn from his past mistakes and he'll start doing running back by committee a little bit more than he has in the past, and that would be fantastic. I would rather have a healthy Christian McCaffrey in the playoffs, not top 5 in yards, and Kyle doing what you're talking about. I just don't know if I believe it if he's healthy.
Do you think Christian McCaffrey's going to have more yards from scrimmage than Josh Jacobs this year?
Where's Josh now?
He's in Green Bay. He's 27. There's
If
also
he's
Jonathan
healthy,
Taylor. He's 26.
if he's healthy, yes, I do.
Okay.
Because
All right.
I think Kyle will use
You going to
Christian
lean on him?
McCaffrey till he that's what he does. Now I hope I'm wrong, honestly. I hope you're right. I hope Kyle learn from that. Like, hey, Chris is 29. Let's use him sparingly. Let's do running back by committee. I just don't the best way to tell the future is by looking at the past. That's not what Kyle has done with Christian.
So in Jeremy Fowler's article, they'll move on in a second. He mentioned like that Christian's in a very special group of running backs, guys who have, at least 4 seasons of 1,800 yards from scrimmage and 10 touchdowns, at least 4 seasons. So it's Christian, Walter Payton, LaDainian Tomlinson, Emmitt Smith. There might be one more. Hold on. That's it. Oh, Marshall Faulk. So Christian McCaffrey, Tomlinson, Marshall Faulk, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton. It's a really great list. And I think that kind of, he used it as reason to feel like McCaffrey could bounce back. He's so special. If you look at all those running backs, Walter Payton is the only one who had one of those years after 28. And he did it a couple of times in his 30s, which is why he's arguably one of the greatest running backs of all time. I just would be surprised if McCaffrey has a bounce back like that. If he does, and he has an incredible 29, 30 year old season, then you're talking about Hall of Fame with this guy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing about Christian, man, is he's had a long, extensive injury history throughout his career with the Panthers. But he's also as good as anybody in the NFL, in my opinion, at taking care of his body. Like, he is meticulous at it. So it's Christian is like this whole season, I feel like, based on Christian's health. It's so hard to predict because he has an injury history, but he's also kind of guy to just ridiculously take care of his body, like the Tom Brady of running backs. So it's hard to know. And then you look at what Kyle's done with him in the past. He's ran him into the ground.
Yeah.
And so is he going to do that again, or is he going to switch it up? It's like one of the hardest things for me to predict coming into the season. What's going to happen?
There are running backs who are effective or borderline dominant in their 30s. Walter Payton was 1. Derrick Henry is 2. Frank Gore was 3. Even particularly in his early 30s, late 20s. Is Christian McCaffrey going to be one of those type of running backs? It seems like they're outliers. They're the exception. And again, you could bring up examples. Maybe I'm missing someone, but usually the ones who are dominant into their late 20s, early 30s can break tackles, are very powerful. I'm thinking Derrick Henry, Walter Payton. They can afford to lose a step and still be dominant. I'm not sure that Christian McCaffrey can afford to lose a step. And I feel like that's sort of what we saw last year. Maybe he'll get that step back this year. That's the way I look at it.
We'll see. It's so like I said, man, I can't call it, brother. Like there's so many different variables and factors when it comes to Christian. Real quick, Grant, am I sounding okay? Everyone's telling me in the chat I sound messed up. My mic and my
You
StreamYard is
sound
gonna
fine to me,
okay.
honestly.
All right. All right, good.
I don't know.
It's just
If I'll be listening, but you're cutting out. I don't know. I'll listen. You sound pretty good to me.
all right.
I had a really great point I wanted to make about Christian
And I
McCaffrey
just ruined it. That's what I do. Ruined your point. Thanks, Tommy. You ruined the whole show. Let's just end it right here. We'll come back another day.
It's such an important point to make before we cut out. That's all right. I'll come back to it.